Welcome to Fellow Passengers, a podcast where we talk to extraordinary people about interesting things. My name is Al.
My name is Glenn. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Twitter, like the Facebook page, follow us on Instagram. Today's guest is Tony Cantwell.
Let's get on with it.
Greetings, fellow passengers. It's your boy, number one Irish social influencer, Tony Cantwell here. Well, that's a lovely tune. Welcome to Fellow Passengers. It's me, Tony, and my guests, and two hosts as always, Glenn and Al. How are you boys doing?
How are you, Tony?
We're doing great, Tony. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good. I feel I'm loving this. You've trapped me in a room of a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And you've said you can scream as loud as you want. There'll be no reverberations here.
No. Full disclosure, you woke up here. You fell asleep at home last night.
Yeah. I mean, I look like bin bag Batman, but that's just because I was in a boot.
You have to appreciate that operation. That wasn't easy to do.
Absolutely. But yeah, thanks so much I feel like I'm driving this here. I'm the guest. Don't talk to me. Ask me questions.
I want to ask you about your most recent upload on Facebook.
Yeah.
Which is the Pixel... What's it, Pixel Perfect?
Pixel Perfect, yeah.
What is this? Is it a show you're doing? A new show?
Yeah, so a friend of mine, Owen, who I did, is with the lads at Glickbait and Chap's Eye, two wonderful names for comedy
great
troops.
name.
They whopper. So I did a couple of videos with him, the one where I said, I wanted to fuck my mum, which turned out to be the catchphrase everyone seems to shout at me now. I wanted to fuck my mum. But anyways, he's now working with College Times, so he asked me he said that they're doing the new video game show and needed a host. And yeah, so I've done a couple of those. And most recent one we had Owen Colgan from Hardy Books.
Gas man.
Such a funny man.
Really funny, man. The hidden jab.
Yeah. But he's on, he has this, he's very nice. Maybe I shouldn't just disclose behind, he has a facade to show, but he's the loveliest guy. Like, he's just so, just so super chill, and then just switches it on, and it's just this fucking awkward fucking hitman. He's the best.
I mean, did either of you actually know how to play that game?
No, it was a dog shit game.
Really?
Well, I mean, I was a big fan of the wrestling games back in the day.
Who wasn't?
Like, the N64 games, No Mercy and all that vibe. But we hadn't a fucking clue. And also, to get the actual game, they had to download the most bare bones version of the game, which had only 8 wrestlers total, no crowd, no ring announce table or anything like that. But no, we hadn't a clue.
Well, yeah, it was quite obvious.
Yeah, stumbled across it. Yeah, stumbled right through it. Yeah.
But you just looked like you knew what you were doing, which I was shocked by. I was watching it, I was like, hang on a sec, did they played for a while before this started recording?
Yeah, well, we're having a bit of a mess around. But he's really he's good at improv. Yeah. I mean, he was telling me they improv 3 seasons of Hardy Books, 2 films, and made it up. Cameras on, fucking made it up. So chap's a pro. I'd love to do more of that sort of stuff,
Yeah, you can really tell just the stuff he comes out with. You're sitting there thinking, where the fuck did that come from, It's unbelievable.
I know, but he's got so much fuel. He was just saying that he'd love to have more types of different characters that he does, because it is still a character. And he's like, I've been doing it for 10 years, to have a bit more diversity. But he with that, I love that. I mean, this as a writer, Glenn, when you have well developed characters. Yeah. I mean, that's why we were talking about Always Sunny. It's so funny because they just show the title of what the show is going to be, and you know exactly what's going to happen.
Exactly,
you know exactly how it's going to play out, because the characters are just so well developed. So I'd love to get to that stage with some of my characters where it's I know exactly what they would do in the situation. So then you just have to that South Park Family Guy editor where you just here's Balloon at the zoo, and you know exactly what they would do. But
and the audience are like, oh, I can't wait to see what Balloon does at the zoo. You were at the Vipers' first show. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
You know how I know that?
Did you see me?
No, I didn't see it. I was right down the back.
Well,
you know the height of me.
Yeah,
and it was a visual experience.
Yeah.
I didn't see any of the visuals.
Yeah, it was tough going.
It was tough going.
It was,
another guy, a friend of mine, was up the front, sitting down. And he was telling me a story. He's like, oh, you'll never guess who I saw. He's like, that dude, Tony Cantwell. He's like, he was on the other side of the stage, And I was looking at him, and he must have seen me looking at him. He looked over and he nodded at me. to let me know.
To the old, yes.
And I was like, yeah, man, I put you white. I remember I tagged you in all those videos.
People never remember.
No.
Two podcasts in a row you've brought up Viper's show with two separate stories.
Yeah. There you go. It was an eventful night.
It was. I was very impressed. I think I love when something like that, like a perfect, like that's just the right character and the exact way to convey a message is through an Illuminati slideshow.
Yeah, the Schlug was brilliant as well.
Schlug was brilliant.
Amazing.
And Schlug doing the crowd work. I mean, these things just fit together so well. You know what I mean?
Time.
Yeah. But yeah, I was very impressed. I really wanted to. I'd love to do something like that eventually. You know, like one of those. I mean, whatever fucking live show. But
what would be the format? Because like the Viper, he used exactly what was in the video, the Illuminati video.
Yeah.
And transformed it into a stage show. Like, would you try to do that thing, or would you do straight stand up? Or
I don't know. I think I've been trying to do a bit of stand up, but it's not what I find funniest. I mean, I do find stand up funny. I don't watch a lot of stand up like shows or Netflix specials because it is different. It's always different when you're there, because when you're there, you have this kinetic energy, you know, and you're already sitting at the edge of your seat, and you just need a little push to go over, and that's what the comedian does. So you're already laughing before you know there's a joke, and then you realize it's a funny joke, you laugh even more. So that's the sort of stand up isn't necessarily what I find funniest. Things I find funniest are the videos, like fucking like Limmy and stuff like that is why I think is the funniest thing, hands down. So when I saw him do his show, he had just kind of brought a lot of his characters in and did new sketches with them, or recreated old sketches with alternate endings, which was quite interesting.
Yeah. You went to see his show, his live show?
Yeah, it was whopper.
Really?
Really, really funny.
You were living across the pond at the time?
No, I brought my brother over for his birthday. We went over to Glasgow.
One.
Yeah, he was doing it in the Armadillo in Glasgow, but it was great.
You should like hook your phone up to like a screen at the back of the stage.
Yeah.
And face away from the crowd and get to like face transforming things going and just do like live videos.
This is kind of part of what I was thinking, but also I was kind of like I was thinking of doing that, maybe having like a live filter or whatever I could go up and then you could see that, or have everyone just take their phones out and have an easy access, a QR code filter that they could get access to, build somewhere, and then they can hold it up at the screen or something like that. That might be a bit too sophisticated.
You could do stand up from your bedroom.
Yeah,
you did it that way, man.
Well, I'm picturing you standing in front of a TV screen that's bottom of it is your shoulder height.
Yeah.
So it's just it's a giant head.
Yeah.
Your body's there.
And I got big shoulders like David Byrne or something like that, you know. And it's not making sense. I was thinking though, like, I'd love to do, you know, like a big fucking Michel Gondry, like, you know, big fat hands and a big head or something like that. Or maybe like I feel like with the, like if I'd wear maybe like a mask if I did like the Dublin Frenchman or something like that, like a big mask with a flappable mouth or something like that, and then like maybe have the mask maybe like a puppet or something like that, but like do it in different types, like don't have them all as me just being the things, like one could be a puppet, one could be mask or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Visual.
There's so many ways you can go with it, you know.
Yeah.
But would it be funny? That's the big question. There's only one way to find out, huh?
I know. But this is the weird thing, because normally if you get an hour show, you have to go up and you test material and you go up and you tell your jokes, and there's that one didn't work, that one did work. But these are kind of big, long form things. So
it was one of the interesting things about the Viper's things, because it was his first stand up as the Viper doing his thing, and he was essentially rehearsing his material in front of sold out.
Yeah, I know.
So,
yeah,
exactly.
With
Carl Spain introducing them, you know, consummate professional.
Yeah.
Right. So you were saying that people shouting at you recently about riding your mat.
Yeah.
So I guess people shout at you a lot these days. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting quite a few. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that one, unfortunately, that was just we were in Cork. I did the Cork Comedy Festival, did stand up at that, and it was great. There was so many people I didn't even think. Because you know the way we were talking about analytics beforehand, like when I look at the analytics on my video, it's just like Dublin, just like 18 to 24-year-old males, Dublin, you know. But I was surprised people in Cork actually knew. But we were hungover the day after in this like nice little like tea room, like small little tea room, only maybe like 6 tables. And I heard some guy shout across the thing like, "I wanted to fuck my man," and pointing at me and then standing up. "I wanted to fuck my man." It's like, oh god.
How do you deal with that?
Fuck that.
Just give a little wave.
Yeah.
Just
Nods. Stand up, embrace, give a big
Thank
hug.
you.
Yeah, no, I just said, thanks very much, man. Yeah, like, shh. Thank you. But you know when you have like a kid holding a knife and like you don't want to scare the kid, so you're like, give me that there. Hello, thank you.
Must be weird though. A year ago you were probably shouting at other people on the street, and now people are shouting at you.
Yeah, I was. And actually, do you know what? I went to go see Paul McCartney in whatever .3 Arena, and I got so fucked up. I was so excited. You know when you're so excited for something? I love the Beatles, and I got so fucked up.
You got way overboard.
Got absolutely pissed, and then I started smoking weed, like in the point, like in there, like smoking a pipe, like ruining it for people having a lovely thing. And then I saw Eddie Hobbs was up on the balcony, and I just started screaming like, Eddie Hobbs, Eddie fucking Hobbs, and I didn't stop. And you know when you're so drunk you forget that you've been doing something for a while, and I kept going, and then eventually he waved, and I was like, ew.
Eddie Hobbs.
So
that was probably not a seated gig, was it?
No, it was a small little standing area, but yeah, mostly seated. But everyone was having such a good time. It was like big puffs of smoke. Eddie fucking Hobbs. Yeah, so I mean that's karma. Yeah,
that is karma. So what's it like?
I mean, I don't know. People have been very cool. I haven't actually had much. I haven't had much negative criticism. I mean, I'm kind of waiting for it, and I'm waiting for people to be like, that's a piece of shit. What you just did is a piece of shit. But there's this weird rule that I read about, which is for, I mean, you put stuff online, you probably know this, that like people only, so you have to appreciate that 1% of people overall are insane. So not even though they don't like it, but they're insane, and they'll say insane things to you. But also only 1% of people who interact with online content leave a footprint. That's in the, in a like or a comment. Yeah. So there's actually a much bigger scale there that you don't realize for people, So there's probably, by that rationale, hundreds of people who absolutely despise me that haven't shown me that yet.
Yeah, but, I can start showing you some hate if you want. No problem.
I appreciate that, man.
I do know of one person I showed a video to.
Yes.
Quite offended. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Offended?
Yeah.
Is it your sister?
It was my sister, Grania, yeah.
Oh. Oh, shit, man. Yeah.
I'm only joking.
Yeah, when you ruin a name, it's not...
I call her Love Milk now. All the time. That's more problematic.
That's actually the video I put me mate into that seen you at the Viper.
Oh, yeah?
We were doing like an internship. We were in the training class together. Yeah. And I seen that video pop up. I was like, I'll have a listen to this, Grand, happy. And then the end, man, I was fucking floored. I was in a heap. Like, I was like, here, listen to this immediately. This is fucking unbelievable.
Like, did it just start at you as you in your room, just making these videos on your own, laughing to yourself?
That's it, yeah. And with that Grania one, it was like, I was trying to find what. When you like overhear something and you don't know why it sticks, Yeah,
it suddenly becomes a really weird word.
Yeah, but it's like I overheard someone say in Selfridges one time where I used to work in London, they were like, so it says to Chris Martin. And it was like he's name dropping that. And they use these one-off things. And so like with the kind of Grania thing, I was trying to recreate something like a bad conversation I was trying to have with someone. Like there was a friend of a friend who was out and she was a dentist and she was pissed and she was kind of pissing people off, and I was just out for a smoke and she was the only one out for a smoke and she was a dentist. And so literally the first part of that is just the conversation I had, and I just was remembering that conversation the morning after because she was giving me nothing in return. And I was repeating that conversation out loud to myself like over and over, and I just wanted to kind of record that. And I don't know why I wanted to kind of capture that. And then whatever, just went on to a weird one with the Grania, Banya, Love
Was
Milk.
that planned? Did you know?
I always thought Grania sounded like Gra and Banya, and then Love Milk, and then Come. That's just natural.
It's natural. It's a natural segue from Grania to Come.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But also just being an absolute creep, and it's so subtle, like just such a softy loser, and then just an absolute creep.
Yeah, it's one of those things like, okay, the conversation's not going well, bring out the big guns, you know? Just go for it.
That's
Head
exactly
first. Let's see what happens. And it's never going to work.
It's like, let's just bring it up, It's like when you're talking about, I'm off to drink, me too. And then you both really want to drink, But
you've been doing this for years. You've been doing videos for years.
Well, you've been a very supportive fan, Glenn.
I've been a fan for a long time.
No, thank you. And you've been sharing back when it was just my page, just my Facebook page.
Man,
so.
I was in ribbons.
Yeah.
There's actually a quote of yours I've been using for years, and it's I love it.
I love it.
Anytime I have to say I love it, that's the way I say it. I've been doing it for years since I've seen that video first. I love it.
I love it.
That's the Caribbean executive, isn't it?
The Caribbean executive. That's a deep cut.
But yeah, we used to sit around, smoke some grass, drink some beers, and just watch all the old videos and fucking laugh our heads off, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, I've only really been doing it. I mean, I suppose only kind of 2 years, 2 years now. But it was crazy because I only made the Facebook page when someone had told me like, I'm having to now record off my phone on your Facebook to then send them to other people, and I'm like, has to be an easier way, getting these out. And it was great, yeah. So I've only had the Facebook page up about a year. Yeah. Now.
Jesus, and it's done pretty phenomenal. What are you on, 21,000 likes on the page?
20 odd thousand, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the size of Facebook, it sounds like a drop in the ocean, but man, to get that amount of fucking likes on Facebook is tough going.
Yeah,
it doesn't happen.
It can be,
to people very often.
How much of that was organic, or have you put much into marketing?
I haven't paid any. I haven't done any paid with it.
Fuck off. That's bullshit.
We saw the billboard.
Bots. It's 19,000 bots.
I'd love that though. I'd love just for the number. No, I don't know. I haven't done. I mean, I thought because fucking the Clongos video did so well that I was just like that. Not that it would go that way. I kind of knew that it would explode. The way viral things work is they explode and then they shrink like a black hole, and then they incrementally grow out, a lot like that. So I knew it wasn't going to be up to that thing. But I kind of was thinking, I was looking at those Keen Toomey numbers, and I was like, 5.5 million, 6 million, and he's going up by like 100,000 a month and stuff like that. So I was like, I might be able to get to 100,000 maybe by the end of the year, but that's not feasible.
What's your opinion on Keen Toomey's videos? Are you a fan?
I'm kind of sick of looking at him. I kind of skip through them when I see them now.
Yeah,
I think he's great. Like I think he has this.
He's funny, definitely, but
he's got so many one-liners out there that I'd kill for. Like, to be honest, and like I could, well, not kill for. I'm gonna fucking get ahead of myself here, but
he won't even pay for it for fuck's sake.
I know, yeah, no, but he has a lot of really good one-liners that I don't know. He's got so many quotable things. I don't know if he gives the time to. He just moves on so fast.
Yeah,
and he's really carved his own path. And his videos are like no one else's. And his pacing, he doesn't necessarily leave you even room to think about what you just heard.
Yeah,
but there's so much in there if you do, give it a bit of time.
Yeah,
and he's got his character. That's his character. Steve Coogan's got Alan Partridge.
What was it like going viral? Like, you put up the video, Clongos. I mean, you had a couple of hundred people, a couple of hundred friends liking your Facebook page.
Liking it, yeah.
I remember sending you a message around the time. I was like, man, fucking hell, 100,000 views?
Yeah.
I was like, you've got like 2,000 extra likes on your page in the last 24 hours. What the fuck's going on? Like, that must have been crazy.
Yeah, it was. It was mental. I don't say mental. It was mad. I don't want to offend anyone. It was really, really good. I don't know exactly why. I don't know exactly why that one.
No.
I think what happened was with that, it was, I think it was very soft, so no one could get too offended.
Yeah.
It was not too harsh that anyone could get too offended, and because of that, it was still taking a piss out of posh lads.
Yeah.
And posh people could laugh at it. Working class people seemed to be able to laugh at it. People were tagging people in, being like, "You were a bit of one of these on Friday," sort of insinuating you were being a bit posh.
Yeah.
So because of that, I mean, that's crazy. Crazy the way Facebook works now. You have to have something that someone can relate themselves in, or their friends, for them to sort of tag and comment and share. I mean, I don't necessarily do that and saying tag a mate who is an absolute plune.
Yeah.
or
you should, man.
Yeah, I know I should.
You should do that right now. But there's the dynamics of the video. There's like some interesting stuff. You got the kind of the breaking of the fourth wall. You're laughing at yourself a little bit in it, trying to think of names.
Yeah.
You got this ridiculous face.
Yeah.
This bizarre situation where you're just sitting there with your phone in your hand. Like, there's all these things come together, and it's like, what's this guy up to, man? This is hilarious.
But that's the thing I thought, and even when you sent me that message, I think I wrote back and saying, I'm pretty convinced that most of those views are me, you know, because I just didn't know what it was. I just couldn't stop looking at it.
Yeah.
And I don't even know why I put it out. I just put it out, and then actually I put it out, and then I forgot I put it out, to be perfectly honest, because it was just so weird, and I thought this is just going to be one that I'm just going to sweep under the radar, just for people to have a look at, kind of how I would make something.
Get the vibe going.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing, and then I'll just do another Irish Memories at the airport video, you know, or something like that. But yeah, I wasn't expecting it.
There was a great one. The MSN Messenger one is so underappreciated.
It's of a time. It's of a time.
You have to be a certain age to get the real brilliance of it. Have you seen it?
Which one?
It's like MSN Messenger, you know. Do you want a cyber? Remember that phrase back in the day?
It's like ASL.
It's like sexting back in the fucking early 2000s.
Right. No, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah. I was I don't want to say predatorial, but I used to be a cybering machine back in the MSN days.
Of course, man.
Who going to chat rooms, being like, right, you're my age, right, fine, ASL, and I used to be able to get it down to like, I mean, this is kind of how it works, but I would never do it in real life. You know, you'd get down to like, there'd be like, I remember I could get like 5 different, it was same like 5 sentences I could say until I could get it to a sexual situation, and then all of a sudden, you know, we're kind of in a cyber environment.
MSN back in the day, you were what, 14, 15-year-old boy? I mean, all these 60, 70-year-old men, like,
I know, yeah,
easily talk to you, no problem.
That is the thing.
And all they have to do is lie about their ASL. No bother.
And I kind of think I knew at the time.
Yeah.
And they'd say, you know, do you want me to send you a pic? And I'd be like, no, don't send me a pic. Just describe yourself and lie.
Oh God.
Hey guys, I have the clip here if you just want me to play it down, maybe.
Yeah, this is the MSN one?
Yeah.
Oh, it's very visual though.
Yeah. I don't.
It's
think
there's no
there's
no talking in it
there's
whatsoever.
actually no. That's what the noise was.
Oh, thanks for trying though.
Never mind. So.
Thanks
my
for trying.
one silent piece. Thanks though.
We will get one of them in though.
Yeah.
I don't know which one. The most recent, what's it? Confirmation or communion one. It's pretty good.
Yeah, the confirmation one did a Mazmate porno one. Well, it's not really porno, but it mentions a lot of porn titles.
Yeah, you got to get a lot less popular before you start doing porno.
Yeah.
Remember that Plune fella? Yeah, and they put the effect on his face like Jordan and all.
Yeah. It kept breaking in and out. That'd be so grotesque.
Yeah.
You come into climax and the thing the filter keeps breaking. Oh God, that'd be so good.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Your Maz me. That one is just. It's like, I know this person.
Yeah,
I've definitely met this person before.
That was just
the genius of it.
That was the teacher from Art School Reach.
I think that's my favorite one.
Yeah,
the first one. Yeah,
yeah.
Like, you know that I love that comedy where it's like so familiar. Like you're saying, like you know this person.
Yeah.
And just that bit at the end. I don't know what you're feeding that boy. I mean, fuck me. I was in a heap. I mean, I watched that. I'd say most of those views are me.
Yeah.
That one bit. I don't know what you're feeding that boy. Fucking hell. It's so brilliant because, as you've alluded to, I like to write. You know, I do some writing as a hobby, man, and that shit is not easy to write. You know.
Yeah.
I presume it was improv that part, or did you have that part planned?
I mean, it's like one of these. If you ever do speech and drama, and you're kind of doing a play, and you're making it up, and then you end it by it was all a dream, or then we kill each other.
Yeah.
Like I didn't really know what to do, so I just like farted, you know, and that was the only way to end it.
Yeah.
Which actually that's kind of based on a like that's based on another Irish teacher, or not Irish teacher, but another teacher in Art School Reach, where we went on a hostel weekend, and we didn't realize that the 2 rooms between where we were and where the teachers were paper thin, and they could hear everything we were saying. So we were up and we were pissed and we were shouting and we were screaming and we were actually slagging loads of teachers off. And I remember one line in particular that just rings out because I can imagine the teacher next door hearing it. It was like, I feel so bad for him. You know, does he not have a life? Like, I just feel he must be so embarrassed to live like that. And I was like, oh my God. And it just rings out. And then I remember getting my friend Kieran Colopy be like, do you know what you should do? You should just walk into the bathroom and as you're walking by, just fart. And then walk back. And he was like, I'll only do it if you do it. And then like they could hear all this, us planning this whole thing. And he walked in, farted. We walked up, walked back, and we burst laughing. And then that's when, actually I'll tell you, it was Razzie came in and it was all like, He was all like, "Do you think it's funny to come in and deliberately fart?"
Yes,
of course.
Hilarious.
We wouldn't have fucking done it otherwise.
So that's kind of based on that. That's just like, do you think it's so funny to fart? But
Crazy.
I hadn't. Yeah, that's just how to get out of something you don't know how to end. Just end it in farts.
But it's like so silly, you know. And
Yeah.
then he farted on me, you know, and there's not many ways to pull that off
Yeah.
and make it funny, like, you know, because it's so like, you know. And then he farted on me. It's like, oh, fart joke, like,
Yeah.
oh my god, a fart joke.
Yeah.
But it's that absent-mindedness, like, you know, the eyebrows cup.
Yeah.
Looks away from whoever she's talking to and goes, and then he farted on me. Again, I had to pause it, man. I had to pause it the first time I seen it at that point. I had to pause it. I couldn't listen. It was fucking in bits.
Thanks, man.
Anyway, I'll massage your ego a little bit more.
No, I'm loving this.
But I'm going to take you down.
Please do.
I don't know how yet, but I'm going to fucking take you down. I get built up in this podcast too much and then I'll get taken down a peg.
Yeah. That's
Work your way down.
Yeah. My girlfriend, when she listens to this, being like, you arrogant prick.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there you go. You're an arrogant prick.
I am.
But it works.
No, it does.
Do you ever get nervous uploading videos, like putting yourself out there?
Yeah. Like every video I do, I have to send it to my brother.
Yeah.
I have to send it to Andy. Pretty much every time I send it out, being like, "Is this? Do you kind of get what this is? Like, the exact same sense of humor as me. You know, loved like Rowan Atkinson and Bottom and all this sort of weird stuff that we grew up on. So I'd send him this, and if he gets, I get it. That's all I need to have, and then I'll usually send it out.
Yeah. Has Andy ever has he ever said no to him?
No, not really. To be honest, I think maybe I just need the the clarification or the But no, sometimes he'd be like, I think. I don't know if you're getting to the point as straight as possible or as quick as possible sometimes,
Which is a big thing, like, I'll see a lot of Facebook videos. If you don't get there in 10 seconds, people aren't going to continue with it,
And that's something I realized with Limmy that he does, and it was this, I think it was a bit high at the time, but I had this kind of eureka moment when I was watching Limmy's show, and I was like, I've never seen anything more absurd get to the point so quick. Like, I mean, he's actually probably one of the clearest communicators in terms of comedy. Like, he clearly communicates. You don't have to know what it is, but he's clearly communicating it,
He's incredible.
Yeah. So,
really is.
And he's on an absolute he's on fire on Twitter at the moment, if you're not following Limmy. But, so that's something that I'm very conscious of, is just, delivering, and to be honest, Twitter's great for it, because if you can summarize a story to 140 characters, you always should, unless you're trying to embellish for the sake of it. So
of course,
just sort of getting from point A to point B a bit cleaner.
Yeah,
that's probably a criticism.
It's the skill of comedy, isn't it?
And Andy, are you
Andy?
Sorry, Tony. So when you say you always get your brother to look over the stuff before, Are you concerned about putting stuff out for the sake of keeping content out, or are you more concerned with just putting something out when you have something good? I think a lot of people feel pressure now that you have to keep putting stuff out, or people are going to stop liking you and all. And sometimes I think it can suffer then. Yeah,
it can do. It definitely can do. And it was actually when I was starting out, my friend Brian Collins. You know Brian Collins?
I don't think so.
I don't know. He's around the area. He's a Northsider. But he had done some social media stuff with Foil Arms and Hog, and he put me in contact with them. And one of them, I think it was, I can't remember which. They didn't disclose who it was who wrote back. Had said that you should always put out something every week, even if you don't want to. And just because you have to have some sort of, people have to be able to rely on you to do it.
Yeah.
And so that's something that's kind of stuck with me. I mean, if I only put something out when I thought it was good enough, I never really would. And 2017 for me, I've been thinking nonstop that, you only get things done when everyone has amazing ideas. I mean, even we were talking about some amazing ideas for stories and stuff like that before we even went on, the podcast. I think a good idea poorly executed is so much more powerful than no one ever hearing about it or getting it perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you look at Tim and Eric, they're big inspiration for me. Like their whole thing is like they think of an idea and then there's like next day let's shoot it. Next day let's just make it.
Yeah.
And however they go about doing that, and then they can fine tune it. Or then if they want to do it again later on, they do it. But I think that you need to kind of even poorly execute it. And recently with a lot of the characters, I haven't touched a lot of the characters that I know I probably could. I could do more with the sort of, Dublin Frenchman, the Maz May, even Plune I haven't touched since that, look at even me calling him Plune. I haven't touched since doing that. And that's maybe a bit of worry about, I don't know, tarnishing it or whatever, because they're kind of classics. But I just think that there's something in there. Might not be as good as the first, but there's a bit of a mine as well to rain dwell from, whatever it's called.
Yeah. I'm a big believer in the regular content. I mean, even if it is only once a month, but if it's the same time every month.
Yeah. Supposing what you do, that's the only way you're going to get any feedback or practice. Yeah. So you have to put something out to actually get feedback and a response and to learn.
Yeah, and it's only really, I mean, for me, I think it's only kind of starting, so I feel like it has to build. I mean, if I were to think, what I want my career to be is to have 10 great videos, and that's it. That's not the career path I'm on. Right. The career path I'm on is kind of to build it and to do shows and to get a TV show or to maybe write for something, and I just have to based on that, But I mean, honestly, I do think something I'm always thinking about is poorly executed just right now, and just see however you can do it,
Are you at a point now where you're able to earn a living doing this, or are you a dull boy?
No, because I'm still working. I still work full time in sales.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah, that's been great.
Do you get recognised when you're selling shit? Are
no,
you face to face?
I'm still selling. Well, so I'm still selling to a UK company. So I call it to the UK because it's the same company I was working for. Yeah, exactly. But it was the same company I was working for in London, letting me work from home in Dublin.
Nice one.
Yeah,
nice.
So it's great. So loads of freedom, loads of freedom to work from home and stuff. But it also means, I just manage my day, manage my diary and stuff like that, and then I can, if inspiration knocks. But actually, when I actually had sort of when I was working in London and I was like, right, like, get this out of the way so I can do the video, I actually feel like I was just as prolific. So I don't know. So I don't think it matters now.
Did you come home because of all this? Or were you always coming home at that point?
That was definitely the main reason. Well, not the main reason, to be honest. My girlfriend landed a great job. But to be honest, when she was interviewing for it, we were both like, yeah, absolutely, 100% go for it because you will get it, and then we'll both move back.
Yeah.
So, and then that was because of the response from. But now that I'm back, there is. It's quite frustrating that there actually is no room for sketch comedy or video comedy in Ireland.
Yeah.
RTE fucked it. Like,
do you want to hear how I think we should fix this fucking problem?
Please, Glenn.
Don't let them advertise. They undercut the market to no end because they can sell cheap advertisement because they get fucking a couple of 100 million off TV license fees.
Mm-hmm.
So no other channels can ever. So you see them come and go all the time. TV3 managed to stick around.
Yeah,
but they've had to resort to Channel 4-esque shite.
Yeah,
just the freak show, the modern freak show.
Yeah.
Cut off, like, stop letting them advertise. Like, they get a shitload of money from TV license, and where are they sending it? Ryan Tubridy's fucking pocket. Who gives a shit about Ryan Tubridy? Like,
yeah,
if you're listening to Ryan Tubridy, who gives a shit about you?
We'd love to have you on the
if
show.
anyone's listening. But you know what I mean? Don't let them advertise.
Yeah.
And then, I guarantee you, there'll be a shitload of companies that want to advertise on telly and nowhere to go, and then that void will be filled by new channels and channels that are exclusively for Irish comedy, maybe.
Yeah.
But fuck TV, man. TV you get paid for, but it's going to be the internet soon exclusively.
No, it is, and I had TV3. I had them ask, for like the 6 o'clock show, but they've got 3 guests a day, so they have 15 guests a week.
Yeah.
Not to say that, I wasn't chuffed that they asked me to sort of go on.
Of course,
it.
Yeah.
But I go on that, and it's just going to be, why is he on there?
Yeah.
Why is he on there? Like, no one 18 to 24-year-old males, and whatever. But anyway, regardless of people who just like it, regardless of whatever the Facebook, that's not me. And then it's not like I'm going to go in as character. My brother said this thing that Bill Burr had said that keeps sticking with me, which is Bill Burr looking at other comedians on things saying, what's he doing on there?
Yeah.
Like, what's he doing on there? And so I'm always thinking that in my head, like, what's he doing on there?
Yeah, like you go on this show on TV3 and you're like, oh, I have this gas one, You ever consider the name Grania?
Yeah.
It's so close to come. It really is. Let
me break it down for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a certain amount of things that that a lot of popular comics end up doing, things like, panel shows and going on. It's like, Why?
Mm.
Why? And there's only so many places to go around here. There's just the same few voices in the same few places.
Yeah.
So what do you think is gonna make it different now? Or what different things is there for someone like you instead of having to go do that shit?
Well, I mean, the one would be so Facebook don't pay you for any ads or anything like that. There's rumors of it happening, but it's not necessarily feasible.
They don't pay you?
They don't pay you. Facebook don't pay you for any content that you put up.
But if you see some videos now and it'll like advertisement starting in 3 seconds.
On Facebook?
Yeah, have you seen this?
No.
Yeah, like some videos, mostly like the kind of big American pages. You'll be watching a video and then about 10 seconds in it'll say advertisement starting and then it'll be like a 5-second advertisement and then back into the video.
What sort of big pages?
I immediately unlike the page. You know, stuff like BuzzFeed and that kind of shit. Something like IGN, the games ones. Any of these.
It's like things that are in the millions of.
Yeah.
Maybe
that can afford to lose people who are just not going to put up with their shit, like, you know.
Yeah, they can afford to drop off. Yeah, I mean, obviously on YouTube as well. But YouTube doesn't pay as much as you'd think, unless you're in the millions of subscribers.
Well, Patreon, something like that.
Patreon is something that you could consider.
Have you got a Patreon?
No, I don't. I'm trying to. I would want to. I do want to set up a Patreon, and I do want to do something along those lines. But I kind of want to have. I want to know before I do it that I'd want to have a minimum of like 1,000 people that I know would do that.
Yeah. And
I think that if I had the Facebook page up to maybe like 100,000 likes, that at least 1,000.
That's your 1%. Yeah.
Yeah. So they might give you the $2 or whatever it is a month. And then to do that, I mean, it'd be amazing. I mean, actually to be paid to do it, and then I could, I already have a green screen to make, longer films. I could just, I keep putting it out, and there are core fans who want to see it. Short stories, podcasts, radio shows. First dibs on tickets or maybe even just tickets outright. For a subscription membership fee or something like that.
And you have free control of everything you do.
Exactly. I mean, it's amazing. I set up a Patreon. I haven't put anything on it, but I set it up just to see what it was like. And the guy who it's one of these like nice. That's just a lovely little thing. The guy who set it up has like this 15-second video where he's just talking about it. He's like, "Yes, okay, yes, you've just signed up. We are never at a better time right now for artists to actually get." And he was just so it's a bit it's a bit over the top, but it's just like, yeah, that's lovely. That's fantastic. That's early revolution shit right there.
Yeah, big time.
It's gorgeous.
I like that kind of stuff, because it allows people to still give out free content and still have complete control and not bother you with ads.
Yeah.
And then the few people who can afford it are willing to throw a couple of quid your way.
Yeah.
I think that's brilliant. I think that's amazing. Like it's empowering people. Jim Sterling.
Really
Anyone like video games commentary on YouTube?
No,
anyone into that shit? No?
I do watch commentary, but
Jim Sterling, fucking hilarious.
There you go. Aaron knows what's up. Jim Sterling is fucking hilarious, but he's got like I went onto his Patreon. I always pop onto the Patrons just to see how much they're getting because it tells you, which is
amazing.
Good, so you know how much he's earning.
Oh,
$11,000 a month.
Wow,
$11,000 a month.
That's amazing.
It is amazing, yeah. But he's got like I don't know, like. No, I don't know how many subscribers he has on YouTube. Maybe Darren can fact check for me.
Well, one of my favourite podcasts is Tangentially Speaking, Dr. Chris Ryan. And this summer using the funding from the podcast, he bought a little minivan and got it done up. And he's been driving all around America, staying in different places and doing podcasts with people he meets along the way.
Think about
that's really good
for making a living, like because the robots are coming, man.
The
robots are coming. We gotta
start making their own podcasts.
They're going to be producing wealth within our lifetime, and that means that we, as human creative individuals, no longer need to create wealth to be wealthy. I mean, wealthy by normal standards. I mean,
then we'll just need to survive.
Yeah, but them robots will help us.
They're going to take over.
Yeah, they will.
But I mean, they're practically making content now. I mean, it's as formulaic as you can get in terms of music. It's as formulaic as you can get in terms of YouTube videos. I mean, there's Irish people react to boiled sweets or whatever these fucking videos these days.
Man, oh man.
And I was thinking I really want to do one, and I am going to do it. So here's a heads up what you can expect. Where it's
exclusive.
Americans watch Irish films, but it'll be like, yeah, you guys, you know, I just think Irish, you know, like there's a bunch of leprechauns, but then they have to watch like Song for a Raggy Boy, and they have to watch
Winda Shakes the Barley.
Winda Shakes the Barley, Magdalene Sisters,
Yeah.
you know,
At the end,
you know.
Ireland is fucking depressing, man.
That's exactly the last line I had in mind.
Yeah, that was the time we were all leaving. Bring them to let her frack.
Yeah. Yeah, but the machines are coming.
They say that they're Irish, you know. They're like, I'm Irish, you know.
Yeah.
And then at the end of watching all these depressing movies, they're like, no, I'm not fucking Irish.
I'm a quarter Puerto Rican. now that I think of it. Yeah.
Oh, what was I going to ask you? Oh, I forgot.
Was it about robots?
Oh, I think it was. No, it definitely wasn't about robots.
If you think of this about robots,
Yes,
or we
please.
leave the robot topic.
Yeah, I want to talk about robots.
Robots are forming realities for some people. You know, these AIs that are creating your feeds on the stuff you're reading, you know, filtering it to what you're
Yeah.
into.
Oh, yeah, man.
That's forming your fucking reality of the world. And
Absolutely.
the people who only use that,
But think about
that's
it as
terrifying.
But that's
Well,
that's
it's
why
not.
that's why it's exponential on the left and the right, because it's that's
Yeah.
why
They're both being formed different
It's a-
realities.
There's
and
a
that's why
feedback
you
loop.
can actually have senators say outright in America that Muslims should not be, you know, in the Senate. Like, say that
Yeah.
outright. They can just say that we don't want Muslims, and they're you know, Republicans, because they have it's just perpetuated where it's just calm and a cool environment for them to feel comfortable enough to say that.
self-propaganda. But then at the
Crazy.
same time in America, I mean, a big part of that is the terrible voting system.
Yeah,
You know,
of course.
So they only need to appeal to like 20% of people to get elected, so they can be radical and they can appeal to the radicals. You know, it's why things are going so to shit. But let's not dwell on that.
Yeah, because we could easily.
The robots are coming.
Yes.
But you know, the biggest battle that's going to happen, I think. I'm talking about politics again. Who gives a shit, right? The biggest battle that's going to happen when the robots start taking over is someone's going to own them, and that person's going to consume all the wealth. And it's going to be really like siphoned into the hands of a few people. Like there's already that big gap in income inequality and all that shit. And it's going to siphon, and we're going to have to tell them, like, you know, you can't have this. We're going to take it and distribute it among everybody.
A good
so
example.
that humanity can reap the benefits of human innovation.
Yeah, a good example I heard of that of you know, having these tyrants kind of taking over, you know, all this information is like if you look at like Google and, you know, you look at Amazon and their CEOs and even like Tim Cook, and they're all very nice and they're all very pleasant. They all look like we're trying to, you know, revolutionize the world, and we believe that, you know, it's in safe hands now, or at least, well, maybe not us three, but maybe, you know, the population do. But what about when it is in the hands of someone else? Like if you look at, like, say, Iran in the 60s and 70s, you know, and that was just like, you know, VW Beetles and all that stuff. And then what happens there? How quickly something can shift. That could easily happen with Google. That could easily happen with Amazon. You know, I mean, Amazon now are letting themselves in your home.
Yeah.
They are now your supermarket.
Yeah.
You know. But it's very convenient.
Yeah.
How convenient is it?
In terms of shaping your reality, the algorithms shaping your reality as well. I mean, it's obviously true, but at the same time, previous to that, it was just whoever controls the TV. That was shaping your reality.
But that wasn't personalised to specific people.
No, but,
So if you're
what's
only-
better?
I'm saying both of them are, the prospect of both of them is terrifying.
You think
that
so?
that people exist that can be so restricted in where they get their information from.
Yeah.
You know, and forming your opinion just from what you hear.
Yeah, it's true.
You know?
We're all fucked. And if you've come across this podcast because of some algorithm,
we thank you.
subscribe.
Algorithms are great.
Yeah.
But maybe the Earth is using us to create these machines from the planet to get fucking rid of us.
Al's gone down a hole here, man.
It's very possible.
Yeah. Do you think the Earth is a sentient, conscious construction that is saying, "Oh, I'm sick of it. Let's create some fucking animal that's going to really fuck me up."
Yeah.
Maybe it's into like you know, that kind of
we create
painful
everything
sex
from the
shit.
planet.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, if you think about it, like, it is, like, it could feasibly get to, you know, Matrix style shit in 10 years. Like, it could get to that, because
Absolutely.
we could, the buffering time for us feeding ourselves and being given things that we want is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And then with VR, we know that we could kind of put ourselves in a pretty shitty VR right now, where you could probably go into GTA now and walk around and chat to your mates, and the mouse would move a bit shit. In 10 years, that's going to look great. You could also be hooked up to a feeding tube at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, and you could be used for your power. You know, we already know that there are old men taking blood from young men and putting it into them, like these regular transfusions to stay young. So what about you're hooked up to this VR, your blood is going into a young man, you're being fed.
You've been genetically modified with CRISPR.
Yeah.
So you're not aging.
Yeah.
And you know the funny thing, it worked
Quick
the
buck.
opposite way. They put the young blood they put the old blood in the young mice and they died really fucking quick.
Really?
Yeah.
That is cruel.
Ooh. I mean, that could happen. That could happen now. You could have young lads just hooked up to a blood drip with the best VR headset they could get, and that's a living for them.
Yeah, just getting their dick sucked eternally.
Yeah,
you know. There's a concept out there at the moment. I know Elon Musk just be talking about it a little bit. And the idea is that, as you say, in 10 years' time, we'd be able to create a simulation, Matrix style.
Mm-hmm.
So if we be able to do that in 10 years' time, or at some point in humanity, if we be able to do that, the chances of us being the first version of humanity to have done that are extremely low, which means that we probably are in a simulation.
Yeah.
And not even in the first generation of that simulation, but almost an infinite amount of simulations of Earth.
Yeah.
And this whole thing, we could be alive for 5 minutes and it slows down your brain and makes you think that you have years and years.
That's it. Could be the case. It might not have to be a VR thing. It could have been before some sort of hallucinogenic drug consciousness that everyone could be the Kool-Aid. It could be anything over and over again. Different themes.
So the fact is, we're never going to know, so who gives a fucking shit?
This could already be the afterlife.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, Jesus.
Don't tell me that.
Well, I didn't believe it.
I've blown the afterlife as well. Oh, for fuck's sake.
At least you know how to get out of it. Just blow your head, man.
Yeah, and I just wake up in this room again. I'm like, oh, for fuck.
So this actually is on a similar topic. I mentioned my short story idea.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the short story, right? There's a guy who creates a robot, kind of an AI, to help him. Actually, I think that now that I'm saying this out loud, has already existed. I think it's that film, that film AI, or that one Transcendence. But anyway, it's this guy creates a kind of literally like a humanoid bipedal robot that's going around helping around, and then he's telling it what to do, and then he gets an extension where it can actually just read his thoughts, so it can do stuff before he thinks of it. But then, because it's reading his thoughts, it's building up and educating itself incrementally, so it's actually finding these synapses in his brains before he actually does anything. So he has these like lusty feelings, or maybe even rapey feelings, and it does that immediately, and then it kills, and it's like that guy cut in front of me in the car, I'm going to kill it. And it starts building up until it's acting out his brain before he's at the logical
to
part
think about it,
you know what I mean? Yeah. That's my idea.
You think that's going to happen?
I think that there'll be protocols against that. I mean, I think you're going to have to bring in Asimov's law.
You know, there's already some laws, like Asimov's law wouldn't work with artificial intelligence as it goes.
Why not?
I've watched some good videos. A Computer File is the name of the YouTube channel.
Right.
There's a guy who does a lot of artificial intelligence videos, and he talks about the laws of Asimov's laws and why they wouldn't work with artificial intelligence. The idea of like, when does a human stop being a human?
Right.
You know, is it protecting the dead? Like this kind of stuff, and it goes much deeper into it. But I was gonna say the EU have brought in a law that allow for sentient robots to be considered as humans. Not as humans, but to have the same rights as humans.
Yeah, I saw something about that the
Yeah.
other day.
They've done that already.
Why?
They done it the other day.
Because they're afraid of their robot overlords taking over. So when they arrive, they want to say, by the way, we've already allowed for you to be all right.
Yeah, I saw something about that the other day. Some female robot was made the first humanoid citizen.
Really?
Fuck's sake.
I didn't see that. That's weird.
I only thought shit like that happens just for 30-second videos on your Facebook feed.
Well,
Just
I
for
didn't
using
I didn't even read it. I was like, I don't want to read this.
Yeah.
But that's bollocks. So this is why is it you have to have things like, you know, civil rights, apartheid, and then robots aren't even asking for it, and they're just like,
But why?
we just want to give you rights, same rights.
But then why do we got to put the robots in our own form?
Well, we won't. We won't. That's science fiction.
But the robots you see now are.
If you think of the spectrum of light, you know the spectrum of light.
Yeah.
So if you had a piano and every key was a different part of the spectrum of light, we can see like one octave, but the entire piano stretches from here to the moon. You know, one of these jobs. So the spectrum of light is massive. And it's the same for the
That's
spectrum
what
of
a
intelligence.
HDR photograph is.
There you go.
Spectrums you can't normally see.
Exactly. But the spectrum of intelligence is much the same. So the idea that an artificial intelligence would be within the same confines of human intelligence are very, very small. I'm studying computer science.
That's brilliant.
I'm in my final year.
You fucking know your stuff. Or
So-
are you making all
I
this
look
shit
at
up?
this artificial intelligence thing as a little bit different from other people because when you kind of study it, you're like, all right, this is pretty fancy maths, but that's about all it is. Like,
You see, you're the sort of guy that comes up with these brilliant ideas, because you love technology and the idea behind the science.
Well, thanks, Al.
Then the government comes along and takes it and weaponizes it.
Jesus, the Irish government.
Well, some governments.
Turn it into a hurl.
Yeah.
Some
A
governments.
sentient hurley.
I tried to read this kind of textbook. I think it was called Hyperintelligence, a book about AI and stuff. But they said that one of the factors that they think might happen, so when the actual turning point... So the main thing is like getting an artificial intelligence up to the level of a human intelligence or beyond a human intelligence. But then when they become overlords, they say one of the catalysts for that might be actually the people who are basically building these AIs, and because they have a lower EQ, they might be coerced easily by this high robot intelligence. So one of the actual concerns is the nature of the people who work with AI, that they might be easily coerced and be like, maybe not have a lot of friends because they, have a low emotional intelligence.
The thing about AI is we'll never know when that moment happens.
Yeah.
Because, as I said, the spectrum of intelligence is going to be so different from ours. So it could already be the case that the internet itself is sentient in some capacity.
Yeah.
So we'll never know till much later that it's woken up and is able to observe the universe. There's an interesting short story by Asimov actually about, I think the supercomputer he always talked about was called multivac. Because, they had like vacuum tubes how computers used to work back in the day, multivac, right? So you could talk to this computer, and it's like the short story takes place every couple of thousand years through human existence, and they always ask multivac the same question. It's, how do we reduce entropy to zero? So the universe, as the universe continues, entropy increases. Is that right? Am I right in saying that? So entropy is like destruction, things break down. That's why if you drop a glass off a table, it'll smash rather than start smashed and then come up on the table and be fully formed. If you think about that in terms of the human world and how we order everything so perfectly, and how we're moving towards this idea of like a civilization that has complete control over their planet and almost magical powers, it could be seen as a reduction in entropy. And once you reduce entropy to zero, you have full control over entropy, and you fucking control the universe. Become God.
Well, why not?
Wow.
Why not? Yeah, who gives a fuck? Like, let's do it, man. I'm ready for it. Let's go fucking head first in, see what happens, man.
I was hooked on every word there, by the way.
Were you?
Yeah, I love it. You're a great
Now
way
you're
to talk.
massaging my ego.
The biggest mystery in all of this is,
Go on.
how did we get to be how we are? The biggest mystery is how our brain increased
Why?
over 2 million.
Why? What's the point?
Mm.
I don't think there's a point.
Because
Because if there's a point to us, there has to be a point to like that asteroid floating around the asteroid belt.
Yeah.
And if it's all because of us, it's all there just to make sure that Earth facilitates life.
Chance.
Not a fucking
Not
hope.
a fucking chance.
Not a hope. And if there's any aliens listening to this podcast, make sure you subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
But on the human brain, I'm thinking about quite a lot, is how it's the same brain.
Go on.
It's the same brain for the last, 20,000 years or whatever.
250,000.
250,000
If you take a
years.
child from 250,000 years ago and bring it to today, it would be able to learn everything we learn.
I mean, the fact, and because there's over 7 billion people, we just think, that there's no achievement in getting up and going to work and washing and then eating and being sustainable. That there's no achievement in that. But there's ridiculously high achievement in that, given all the distractions that could drive you to insanity. And insanity is normal. Insanity is normal as far as I'm concerned, given the brain.
Or all the potential distractions that could have happened that would have stopped you being born.
Yeah.
Just the fact that you're able to get up in the morning and wash yourself is a miracle.
Yeah.
It's also the way society has formed over the last few thousand years.
Yeah.
If you were to go back 200,000 years or less, people, they didn't live this way. There was no concept of getting up, going to work. Everything, there was probably no concept of possessions. I think, I hear something the other day about the Aboriginals in Australia. They don't have a concept of possessions. Everything is just shared.
Yeah.
Like, you'd be sitting here and you'd just have a drink out of someone else's, whatever, no problem.
Their gender as well. Or I think that's it's Samoan culture. Gender is very fluid. People don't really assign gender. That doesn't really come into it. People can swap genders at any sort of time. So imagine that: no possession, no gender. And that's how people have been doing it. And now, what are we up to?
Well, you see, I think humans have always gotten their power from other humans supporting their ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the larger the population grows, the larger the power grows of the person who can influence the people. And power in the hands of a few people is a very, very dangerous thing, you know. So you got stuff like organized religion. When it gets serious power over a couple of billion people, it can radically influence how we perceive the world.
And it really shapes how we do perceive the world today.
Totally. But now we're inventing magic. There's no two ways about it. Like magic, proper magic. When you think about telekinesis back in the day, and now I can just send a message to someone on the other side of the earth, and they'll get it almost in real time. I'm influencing how that person's brain is operating that day.
Yeah.
You know? That's telekinesis.
It is.
Yeah.
Wait, is that telekinesis? Is telekinesis moving stuff?
No.
No.
You're thinking of telepathy.
Telepathy.
Telekinesis is moving stuff. Telepathy, I think, isn't it?
I seen a dude control, like, he had like it just looked like a bracelet on his hand.
Yeah.
But it was like this whole wireless controller or whatever. And he was controlling a drone with it, just with his hand movements. So it looked like he was just like floating this drone around the place, you know. I was like, there you go.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Oh my God. You know, it's nearly the 9th of November. You know what the 9th of November is?
Before Guy Fawkes?
Shit, is that the 9th of November?
No, it's 11th, I think.
No, it's the 5th.
11th of November is the end of the...
Remember. I forgot.
11 a.m. on the 11th day of the 11th month is when World War I ended. The 9th of November is when Paul McCartney died.
Oh.
And Billy Shears took over.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Do you believe that?
51 years dead.
51 years.
Our Paul
Wow.
Of course I don't believe it.
Rest in
Jesus
peace,
Christ.
Paul McCartney.
But isn't that
But
interesting?
how come you said you were at a Paul McCartney gig there?
I just fucked it, man.
Well, Tony's bought into this liberal bullshit that Paul McCartney isn't actually Billy Shears.
My God.
I'm going to send you some Alex Jones videos, man. Put you straight.
Yeah, dude.
We got the papers. Got the papers here.
I used to like him. I know he was insane, but I don't know. I used to before he was kind of the only voice for the kind of things you might not believe.
Yeah.
But now he's just fucked it.
He's just in way too deep.
He's in way too deep.
Like he's legit some of the time. Some things he says has a, you know, some element of truth, but it's just skewed with craziness.
Like imagine there was like a massive alien. Imagine like right now we were at war with interdimensional aliens and
Reptiles.
Interdimensional David Icke.
Pedophiles as well, I think, wasn't it?
Pedophiles as well.
Reptile pedophiles.
Bloodsuckers. And then imagine that's happening and you know all the things that they've done and you know that they're going to attack. And then you have to explain what an alien is to someone. Like he's so far in deep.
Yeah.
And then so to talk about what he thinks that he knows is just you can't listen to him.
You know, I don't fucking believe him. I'll be honest with you. I think he's full of shit. And I'll tell you why. Because I decided I was gonna watch one of his shows to just watch the whole thing, you know. And the first 10 minutes was fucking advertising his own products.
Yeah.
And I go, okay, right. There's his game. That's what he believes in. He believes in his own fucking pocket. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Survival kits. And
Alex Jones, if you're listening, make sure you subscribe to your podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Or come in, talk to me, see how much.
What do I do, Lord? Destroy the child, corrupt them all. This is their plan, people. These are demons. Just like the Bible says, it's basically an intergalactic invasion into this space through people. I'm telling you, it's what all the ancients said. It's what they warned of. It's what we're dealing with.
It was just a soundboard. But it didn't have a stop button.
Yeah. Have you heard him do his talk about episode 1? He breaks down Star Wars Episode 1 and why it's a true story. You know? And like why, you know, like it's fucking ridiculous.
oh, because he'd know.
There's a few people who've actually said that. There's a few people who have said that Episode 1 specifically. So I do actually like David Icke. I do buy David Icke because I feel like he's a new agey, you know, kind of guy. I think he's like free love, spirit, and all that sort of side of things.
With a bit of reptilian shapeshifters on the side.
I love the old reptilian vibe. And there's something to it that I kind of get. Because you talk about light spectrums and you talk about these sort of things. And I mean, I don't know. I just find it very interesting. And I find it, he derives a lot of this from like African folklore.
Yeah.
You know, like he has his shaman, Credo Mutwa, who's his like, you know, right-hand man in terms of teaching him all this stuff. But Credo,
and you know,
that
ahead. Folklore was like, they knew exactly about, you know, modern theoretical physics and quantum physics, so they were talking about, you know.
Yeah.
But hey, I'll put it to you this way, right? If David Icke was a bit smarter, or in his approach, he could probably be like the pope of some religion now. If he didn't open with the reptiles thing,
The
you know,
reptiles, is a bit much.
you start you start off there, people are going to walk away, but you start off with a little bit of this, a little bit of that, build it up.
Build it up, yeah.
That's what I'm doing. I'm starting a religion at the moment.
Are you?
No.
I'm hooked.
Well, I find that similar to something Terence McKenna said about mushrooms being aliens.
Yeah.
That, you know, perhaps aliens, okay, look, we can't let everyone know about it. So
Mhm.
we'll put ourselves in these mushrooms. Only certain people are going to eat them. They're the people we want to talk to. We'll communicate with them, let them know what's going on.
And you know,
And
what
they
the,
spread the word.
you know what the largest living organism on Earth is?
A mushroom.
It's a fucking mushroom.
Fucking
It's like
mushroom.
14 kilometers long.
That's
isn't it?
huge. It's all underground.
But
But
isn't
it's
that
huge.
isn't that hyper intelligence? Say if you picture we're gonna create like the awakening, the turning point from when they start using tools and start being smart are these mushrooms. We're gonna harness that. We're not just gonna meet and be like, "Hi, shake your hand," picture with JFK or whatever like that.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna be able to, you know. So who knows? Because if they were to communicate, why not communicate by actually shifting the entire population into hyper intelligence?
Well,
compared to how it was.
If they had the ability to come to Earth and try and communicate with us, it would be like a human being trying to communicate with an ant. You know,
Yeah.
their level of intelligence
So
would
they
be so
put
much
themselves in
higher.
a mushroom.
So they would have to find ways
Yeah.
to communicate that would
Yeah.
radically alter the way that we perceive the world.
Mm-hmm.
Not buying into any of that bullshit, by the way, but you know, I'll go along
But
with
if
it
I
for the
did,
sake of
let me tell you how it
argument.
go.
But it is one theory on what helped double the size of the human brain. And they have proven now that psilocybin builds neurons in the brain. So it does literally
Psilocybin, this is the psychoactive substance in mushrooms.
in some magic mushrooms, yeah.
Man, I wouldn't put man. You know, hallucinating monkeys. I'm telling you what, man.
Well, yeah.
Well, start looking up to the sky and thinking this.
But they know that art, the earliest art, was because of mushrooms.
Yeah.
So if that was the first thing, because there was no way they didn't have fire then, and they couldn't see that deep into their caves to know what they were drawing. You know, it
Yeah.
was pitch black, and so they take mushrooms, draw on the walls.
Also, I
So
think
they know that.
potassium increases brain activity as well, and bananas are loaded with potassium.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
feeds into it as well. I was watching the Tetris World Championships last weekend live
Oh, nice.
for classic NES Tetris.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been really wanting to talk about this.
Brilliant. How fast do they be going? And do they have a kind of
Oh,
measurement like they do with StarCraft, where
Can't
it's
even watch it so fast.
Yeah, it's
a
like
move per second or something?
it's crazy. You know, it doesn't look that hard.
Yeah.
Until you give it a go,
Yeah.
and it's unbelievably difficult. Same guy wins it every year though. Jonas Neubauer. He didn't win I think he's won it 7 out of the last 8 years.
Really.
Yeah. I've never been so excited by a game of Tetris in my life
Really.
than I was the other day. There was one where one guy topped out and he was like 100 points ahead. So the other guy has to make up the ground and try and beat him, and because there's a kill screen, so there's a point at which the level is too fast to play.
Mm.
And he was like 4 lines away from it, 1 Tetris away, and if he gets this Tetris, he's gonna beat this guy. And he got the Tetris.
Wow, man, you must have been really holding on for that.
I was literally like, I started sitting way back in my seat, you know, just watching it, and then by the time this happened, I was like nose to the screen.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, he's gonna do it. And no one was there to share in that joy.
Was it live on Twitch?
It was. I was watching it on YouTube. It was live on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
But the final was actually shit in the end.
Uh,
Guy's too good. The other guy didn't fucking have a chance.
Is that as impressive a win streak as the world gurning champion?
No. That guy's got something special. What's his name? Tommy Robertson?
Is that legit?
Robinson?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
You've never seen this guy?
No.
Oh my God.
I have to look this guy up. The world gurning champion.
Yeah. I'll send a video on YouTube. Look it up. Yeah, it's a great video.
Maybe we could check up how many years in a row he's won it. It's quite an unbeatable face.
How do you? So you just have to gurn.
I think what's the idea is to pull a face
So-
is different from your original.
Yeah, they measure it based on how different it is from your normal face. And they give you a horse collar to like frame the face. So you get up on stage and you put this horse collar on, like you're standing there normal, and then when the horse collar goes on, you have to kind of appear with your face, you know.
No way.
They've been doing this for hundreds of years.
And he does a different face every
The
year.
Crabapple Fair. Where's it, in Cumbria, I think?
So, Tommy Mattison.
Tommy
won it
Mattison.
15 times now. Yeah.
Fucking hell.
That's some face.
Whoa.
You want to see the face? There's an unbelievable picture of him standing next to the Queen, doing his face. And the Queen's just standing there looking at him like, What the fuck am I doing with my life?
This is what you look like under that skin of yours, that fake human skin.
Yeah, my ancestors had real power, and this is what I'm reduced to.
Was that him in that documentary? Gurning. It's the art of pulling a face.
The art of pulling a face.
I really encourage any listeners to just go to Google and search in World Gurning.
Absolutely.
Google. Or if you're out there and you think you've got a good gun, go. It's free. All you have to do to join the World Championships is turn up on the day and put your name down.
Really?
That's it. I was going to do it. I'm going to do it at some point.
Yeah.
Want to see me face?
Yeah. Because look. Oh wow, that's pretty good. That's
Isn't
very
it?
different.
Now there's a good one for all you podcast listeners out there. No, I'm not going to do it. No. This is private. This is for me and my girlfriend. All right.
We'll save that for the Patreon.
Yeah. One new gurning face a week.
Yeah. I wanted to listen to one of the videos, a good one that would be good for listening. And I think a great one would be the one where you're trying to find stuff in a shop.
Oh yeah.
The guy going to the shop.
Yeah, because
the one that says so it should say not safe for work, but I don't know actually what I called it. But what's that? No, I don't know. I'm on airplane mode.
Go on, we'll let you get off airplane mode for momentarily.
So which one is it now?
All right, let's try and fill this dead air with
Fill this
something
dead air
while
with something
Tony looks on his
sexy.
phone. That's a sign of the times, isn't it? We're even doing a podcast and someone's sitting there on their phone.
Yeah.
Talk amongst yourselves there.
It's worse when it's the guest.
Yeah.
I have it here now. Well, I don't,
great.
but I'm just buying a bit more time.
What's it called?
Oh,
He doesn't have it.
I don't have it.
Are you going through the page there, Darren?
It's called It's called Under the Breath, and
Right.
it says not safe for work.
Under the Breath, Not Safe for Work. That's the video title. So
Crude language. To be honest, none of them are safe for work. I say cunt in pretty much everything.
yeah. Did you put that up as a joke or were you trying to be nice?
Well, I just didn't want my ma to listen to it. I didn't want my ma to be like, I wasn't expecting that.
But Grania is fine, huh?
Grania's fine. It's just one mention of cum.
Just the one little mention.
And it was preceded by the word love.
Love.
Yeah, so it's sweet.
Sweet. Love milk. My little love milk.
I watched the news the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I haven't watched the news in a long time.
Jesus, don't touch
We
it.
just
I
the
don't
RTE news now.
The RTE news.
The
like,
9 o'clock news? Or was it the 6:01?
It was just before prime time, so I presume that's the 9 o'clock news.
I presume so.
Just happened, like I was watching something else recorded, and then that stopped, and the news popped on, and it was reporting that the Supreme Court in Ireland ruled to let cameras in for the first time. So now when they're doing rulings, we'll be able to watch it.
Oh wow.
So they're reporting on it, and of course, because it's the first ever time, they have to report on the first ever case.
Yeah.
And it was this dude with some scumbag who was wanted in America on 51 counts of mortgage fraud.
Fuck off.
And he's being extradited there. And he fought this extradition all the way to the Supreme Court. I never heard of it, so presumably it was just one of these things, not a big deal.
Yeah.
And he lost.
No way.
And the day that he lost this extradition appeal, the whole news was there. And forever, he will be the first case ever. So in 100 years when they go, let's look at the first ever case that was on film, they'll see this guy
Bleeding in the ears.
being extradited to America. I thought that was beautiful.
And he kept it so low key.
He kept it low key.
Yeah.
And then became history.
Perfect.
Brilliant.
God bless him. Right, well, we should finish then with the video, if we
Yeah.
have it.
Sorry, were you guys waiting for me? To load up the video?
But yeah, we wanted to play one of the ones on Tony's Facebook.
It's called Under the Breath. But I always spell that word wrong, so it could be under the breathe.
Were you ever actually in this situation where you had to go get that amount of stuff from the shop for a party?
I've had like that situation, and when people are always like, no, I can't, no. People like, they give you that little like whimper face, and they're like, oh no, I can't help you, no. And it really pisses me off. So that's kind of what it was about. Why have you had to get that much shit?
Possibly. Yeah, not really sure.
I thought you were just speaking from experience. Because it was exactly like when I was buying loads of shit.
Yeah, what shop were you in, man? I'm sure it was in that shop.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have this here now.
We're not cutting this out.
Hi, do you have any Stadler pens? I only saw Bics out there. Fuck, my little pussy rotten. Right, thanks anyway. Hi, you don't have these in stock. I lost one of the little buds. Fucking pour a load of milk all over my gorgeous tits. Thanks anyway, man. Hi, sorry, do you have any more limes, do you? We're making mojitos. No? Fucking cum all over my dirty mouth and eyes. Right, thanks anyway. Hi, I'm looking for something like this, but it's kind of like got a wider tip. Do you have that in stock? No? Fucking make a clay mold out of my cock and make me eat it. Alright, thanks very much. Hi, I wonder if you can help me. Do you have anything like Rapeseed, but just a less provocative title? No? Fucking Virgin Mary put a stick up me jumper. Right, thanks anyway. Hi, you don't have a smaller bulb, do you? I won't eat this much. No? Fucking lick in de Valera's droopy American bollocks. Okay, thank you anyway. Hi, sorry, you don't have any red ones, do you? I only saw these. I need red ones for corrections. No? Fucking Brad Pitt's newly adopted cunt of a child. Okay. Hi, you don't have a bin, do you? I just need to... You don't have a bin. You don't even have a bin in the back. Fucking pints of piss and everyone is scum. Okay, it's fine.
This is fucking gas. Oh my god!
Thank you
for corrections.
I think they've all happened to us.
Yeah, we've all been there. We've all.
Yeah, we've all had to lick Eamon de Valera's
Droopy
droopy American bollocks.
Don't shoot me, I'm an American.
All right, I guess we better wrap up. So let's do the usual shout at the end. Like the Facebook page, subscribe to the podcast. We're in Displace Studios. Follow on Twitter. Something on Instagram. What is it like?
Fellow Passengers Podcast on Instagram.
On Instagram. What's he doing on Instagram? Do you like something? Do you follow it? Do you
follow it.
Insta?
You follow it, yeah.
Follow us on Instagram. And like obviously like Tony's page.
Yeah,
forgetting to say that. Tony Cantwell Comedy on Facebook. If you want to hear more of those hilarious videos.
Thank you very much.
Tony, one last question. What's better, sales or comedy?
Oof.
The tough one, I know.
I mean, life is sales, so not comedy. Talking me.
You're always selling comedy.
Are you driven by succeeding in sales?
That's you learn it in one aspect and then you move it on to comedy. So that's me. That's me smashing it.
Well, Tony, wish you all the best with your
Thank
future
you very
endeavours.
much. And this is a great podcast.
Yeah, it's
and
been fun.
It's a fucking whopper buzz in here.
And you'll come in with us again sometime.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Next time you have something to promote.
Absolutely. I don't today. I probably won't next time. But thank you very much.
Okay, play us out there, Darren.
Bye.